Hey, this is Bob from Fu Manchu, and you're checking out Diskant.dk. We're all pretty beat up right now. I got a cold, and Hill's gimping around on a bad leg, so I don't know if there's any signs of infinite power, but I guess it's Hill comes up with a lot of those titles. I guess it just means that we just keep playing. For some reason, we keep playing. I don't know. It's like infinite. We never stop playing. It's strange. It's been like almost 20 years. No, 20 years now. So a lot of that stuff doesn't really mean much. You just kind of interpret it as you will. Yeah, I mean, we never really set out before writing a record to go, well, this record is going to be this and this and this. It's just kind of like we get together and all throw ideas at each other and whatever comes out, and we all know what we like and we all know what we don't like. So I think on this latest record, there was an effort to make it a lot more fuzzy, pretty much just bring back the pedals we were using in the past. Where before we would try to mix and match amps and stuff and get kind of weird in the studio. But now it's like, let's just set up, play the song 3 times, pick the best one, and keep a live feel. The solos are overdubbed, and there's like little things on top, like shaker and stuff like that. But yeah, a lot of that stuff, we would just go in the studio and just take three takes. And then, let's say somebody totally screwed up something, we would go in there and just punch that part. But we wanted to keep the element of, Fu Manchu being live, because I think a lot of our sound comes from me and Hill just playing the guitar differently and, being wavering in and out of tune and being kind of weird, where most bands get really anal about that. But for us, I think it lends to how retarded we are to begin with. So, I would sit down and record like 7 or 8 solos for, the same solo, and just kind of listen to them and go, oh, I like this part and this part, and really have an idea going in what I wanted to do. Whereas in the past, I would just kind of wing it because I thought it sounded too contrived to do something like that. But, like I said, on Action Is Go, now looking back, I wish I would have done that a lot more. Just kind of get everything prepared and get an idea of like a structure and stuff. But other than that, though, it was pretty much the same recording process. Well, we just get together, and one guy will go, hey, I got a riff, we'll all figure it out, and then someone else goes, well, I got something that might fit with that. You just kind of slowly build, this puzzle. And our songs are pretty to the point, you know what I mean? Like there's no extended 10-minute jams or anything. It's kind of got that punk rock element where this part, we kind of change it up a little bit and make it a little weird. But you just refine it and keep going over it and over it until everyone agrees, okay, it sounds like a song of ours, If you can listen to it 50 times and not be bored, then it's probably cool. If there's parts that drag, you just cut those out. You're sitting there with your guitar and something just comes out and you go, oh, cool. And if you can remember it the next day without recording it, then it's probably a good riff. And if you're like, God, what was that riff? Then it's forgettable, so you don't need it anyway. So, I would just record a bunch of stuff. You get those moments where you just have all these riffs coming out of you and you're like, cool. And then you listen back and go, okay, out of those 10, there's 3 that are really memorable. And I don't know, are you familiar with the show Beavis and Butthead? My kind of rule is at least for Fu Manchu, if they can't sing a riff on their couch, then it's not good for us, you know what I mean? You could sing the riff to King of the Road, and you could picture Beavis and Butthead going, So that's kind of my thing, that if it's too complicated and weird, it's not gonna work for us. Other bands, it's fine, but Take It Away was from a while ago that we just kind of brought back. I think everything else was pretty much ready to go. We always have 1 or 2 things floating around that we didn't use before, but then you got to think well, if we didn't use it before, there's probably a reason, But then if you rework it a different way and it sounds cool, it's oh, all right, we'll keep it, I guess. I guess the older we get, it's it's kind of the opposite. We just get more into our roots, of the punk roots and stuff growing up. So I mean, when I first joined the band, we did an SSD cover called Nothing Done on Action Is Go, and I thought, I've been listening to Fu Manchu for years, and I'd never heard Fu Manchu sound like that, and I was like, well, that's so cool, I wish we could do more of that. And I've always kind of been pushing a little bit that way, not for the whole record, but just to kind of give it more peaks and valleys and stuff like that, If every song is the same kind of beat or tempo, and the record kind of just main lines, but if you got some songs that are crazy and other ones that are just slower and heavier, Just makes for a better sonic landscape, I guess you would call it. I don't know. I mean, that's all. It's all like the beginning stages right now. So I don't even have a set date or anything. But what we're trying to do is get everything together and come over here before the end of the year. At that time, we'll be doing full records from start to finish. I know that we just got the masters back to our first 2 records. So we're gonna reprint those and bring them over here, because I know some it's kind of hard to find them on vinyl and stuff like that. So reprint those with some extra, tracks that are laying around, and then just do start to finish. Probably do No One Rides for Free, Daredevil one night, and then the next night do, In Search Of, and then An Action Is Go night, and all that stuff. So just kind of see. I mean, we're just toying with the idea right now to see what kind of demand there is for that kind of thing. I know a lot of bands are doing that these days, and I mean, I don't really think it's too weird to jump on that bandwagon, since you can't find our vinyl, you know what I mean? So we might as well repress it and then just come over here and promote it and just play the whole thing, I'm sure we'll do an In Search Of night, Action Is Go night, King of the Road night or something. And what'll probably have to be is that, let's say in Malmö we'll do like 2 records, and then we'll go to Stockholm and do the next 2. So hopefully people will kind of cruise around and check it out and everything. The first 2 records came out on a label called Bong Load, and we just got those back after years and years. So that's pretty much all we own, that and Start the Machine. So can't really do anything about it. But we could play the whole thing. I mean, while we're doing that kind of thing, we could just elaborate a little bit and do different albums and stuff. I mean, it'd be great to be able to repress that stuff, but unfortunately, I don't think we get that back until 10 years from now. Maybe on our 30th anniversary, if we're still dumb enough to kick around and travel around and stuff. I mean, now over here, we're starting to get noise restrictions and stuff, which is pretty weird because that's not in the States yet. And it's equally strange that over here in clubs you could still smoke cigarettes, but then you have to turn down your amps. You know what I mean? It's like 2 strange things. But other than that, no, I don't know. I mean, some places are a little more aggro than others. This tour has been really strange. Like usually in France, it's like a really reserved crowd, but they were crazy in France this time around. So I don't know. I just like coming over here to play. I mean, Scandinavia in general is always really good to us. So I always like coming over here.
Don't have to say that.
That's true, though. No, it is true, man. I mean, our live record was, in Sweden. It was in Stockholm. Half of it was recorded there. So yeah, it's always good coming here. Well, I run a website called playthisriff.com, where I go to film bands when they come to Southern California, and they teach their own stuff. So, I mean, for people who like Fu Manchu, we got like Caius, Clutch, Monster Magnet, Pentagram, Pelican, Queens of Stone Age. There's a bunch of metal stuff on there too. Shadows Fall, Trivium, Gwar, a bunch of old punk like Circle Jerks, Articles of Faith, TSOL. And it just keeps growing and growing. I got some really cool stuff lined up when I get back. I'll be filming some bass lesson stuff with Chuck Dukowski of Black Flag, which is just going to blow me away because he's invited me to his home. It's like, oh, okay. So that should be cool. Wino, I lined up that for Shrine Builder. So that should be cool. But yeah, that's what I do when I'm not touring. That's not a bad gig. I like it. And it was cool. I got to actually see Brant. I hadn't seen Brant in like 7 years. And I just emailed him. I'm like, hey, I'm thinking of doing this project. Would you be into it? And he was like, totally. So we hung out. And it was like I just saw him yesterday. It was totally cool. I mean, when I go film these guys, like I mail them checks occasionally and stuff for how many videos they have on the site. So yeah, I mean, I keep in contact with them that way. But I hadn't talked to him in years. I saw him, we opened for Black Flag at the Palladium, and he came out, and that was the first time I'd seen him since he quit. And it was all good, it's fine, he's doing his thing, and I'm happy for him. But it was just trippy to see him again. I was like, shit, it's like I never, like that 7 years didn't exist. It's pretty funny.